Hey guys, it's Kevin again, and this is going to be my review for this movie that I just got. I actually didn't think I was going to review this movie too, but I got this movie today, and that movie that I'm going to be reviewing is Paranormal Activity: The Marked Ones. And this movie, I actually didn't want to see it at first. I saw the trailer for it, and I realized it was a remake, and like a spin-off, and I'm like, that movie looks stupid. But then I started to hear reviews that it got stupid. But then, as I thought about it, I thought, you know what? It's Paranormal Activity. I still want to see it. And ultimately, I got this today. And how did I feel about Paranormal Activity: The Marked Ones? Basically, the main reason I got it was because I wanted, I like the rest of the series. I'm not a huge fan of Paranormal Activity. It's in no way my favorite horror movie or anything. But I enjoy the movies. I think they're fun to watch. And how did I feel about Paranormal Activity: The Marked Ones? I actually really enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. Is it the best of the series? I don't really know. But I'm kind of confused about a couple of things because of the way the movie ends. But overall, I did enjoy it. Basically, this is a spin-off to the other movies. It kind of explains a couple things, but it is a little bit confusing as well. Basically, the movie's about these two friends, Jesse and Hector. They just got out of high school. You see their high school graduation and everything. And, basically, Jesse has been hearing terrifying sounds coming from his neighbor's apartment. So he decides to turn on the camera and just kind of sets some, investigation out to uncover the source. And once he does that, though, he encounters an ancient, basically, he realizes, something weird starts happening to him. We don't know what happens, but out of the blue, something weird starts happening to him. He gets marked, and, basically, they get this, like, Ouija board, not like a Ouija board, but this electronic board, that tells him what to do, and he just starts to get possessed, and, that's basically the movie. And, the one thing that I thought was interesting about Paranormal Activity: The Marked Ones is that this movie's a very different tone from the, other Paranormal Activity movies. One, it's funnier. Two, it's darker. And I will get to both of those. But first, let's get to the acting in this movie. These found footage movies, they're not exactly the best with acting. I thought overall, though, everyone in this movie did a pretty good job. The only one that, I wasn't a hugest fan of, but I will get to, who played who. Andrew Jacobs as Jesse. I like this guy. I thought he was a good actor. I thought he did a nice job with what he had to work with. And I definitely enjoyed his character a lot. Also, Jorge Diaz did a great job as Hector. The one that I wasn't so keen about, I wasn't as, didn't really care as much about was Gabrielle Walsh as Marisol, who basically is Jesse's girlfriend, or is it Hector's girlfriend? Is your Hector's girlfriend? No, just their friend. Sort of just their friend. But she, for me, I didn't really like her character. I didn't see the point of her character. I didn't think she did the best job in the movie. I had a lot of problems with her in the movie. The good thing is, she's not a huge part of the movie. She's basically the only female in the movie. But the other two guys did a good job that it didn't bother me too much. I just was kind of like, I don't know, I wasn't too invested into her character. I didn't like her character as much as the other two guys. But, now let me talk about some things that I did like about this movie. One of the things I liked is that you know how the Paranormal Activity movies, the first half is kind of silly? This one takes all of that to the extreme, because in the beginning of this movie, it's hilarious. I was laughing hysterically at some of the scenes in this movie. Like, when they first get the board, and some of the questions they're asking, like, is Jesse handsome? Is Hector black? Those were, that was hilarious right there. I love that part. And then there's, this one really funny scene with their grandmother. And that was definitely really funny. I enjoyed that a lot. I thought that was probably one of the funniest, some of the funniest parts in the movie. The other thing that I liked about the movie, was, as I said, the humor was great. So that was definitely great. And, but the other thing about this movie, though, is it is also the darkest in the series. Even though it starts off really, really funny and you're really into it, it soon becomes extremely dark and extremely serious. And At first, I'm like, I don't know if I like this as much, because I thought it was funnier, and it's kind of like what I thought about Chronicle. However, I enjoyed this a little bit more than Chronicle, because I'm used to this series, I'm used to the way they did this, but I thought they did a better job with this. This one, honestly, was also the most real of the other ones. Like, you know it's not real what's going on, but the way they did it, you could tell, it could almost feel like it's real, because it literally just feels like this is how people would react to this. I feel like if this were to happen, this is definitely how people would react to this sort of situation. Now, the special effects in the movie, the scares, things like that, very, very good in this movie. I mean, this movie, if you want some good scares, this is probably the best one that they've done with that, because they really they did a great job with that in this movie. I was really impressed with the scares in this movie. There's a lot of scenes, where the tension is building and things like that. There are just some huge scenes, and I'll get to that in the spoilers. Which there's one thing, my only complaint about the movie is in the spoilers, which I will talk about. Definitely that was great, the way they did the scares and everything. Now, while we're on that, let's get to the spoilers. Now, as far as, so with the spoilers, we're going to talk about some of the biggest scenes in the movie, so, just don't, I'm sure if you guys have seen this movie, but if you haven't, don't watch the rest of this review. Basically, the biggest thing that you want to say about this movie is one of the weirdest parts of this movie was the ending. Why are they suddenly back with Micah, Mika, and Katie? What was the point? That was just weird. Basically, somehow they travel back in time to where Mika and Katie were. I'm like, what is going on here? I didn't understand any of that. I didn't understand where they were going with that. That just was weird to me. I didn't understand any of that. I was just like, what the fuck is going on here? And the way they ended the movie, I don't know, I was not satisfied with the ending. I did not like the ending of this movie. It didn't answer too many questions for me, except Hector died from possessed Jesse. But I just didn't understand why they went back in time. It didn't make sense to me. If they want to make these movies, seem real, then they can't do that. And I just thought that was a huge downfall with the movie. I was not a fan of that at all. The other thing is, all of that one great scene in the very, in like the first 40 minutes of the movie where he attacked that guy in a convenience store. That was probably my, the best terrifying scene in the movie, because I did not know what was going to happen there. I thought that was great. The scene where he killed his grandmother, that was very well done. But just the ending in the movie just did not make sense to me. Probably is the only ending for Paranormal Activity where I was just kind of like, what? Huh? And I was kind of like that for Paranormal Activity 4, but now it sort of makes sense. I mean, these witches are basically taking over them. It kind of makes sense as to why they're all of a sudden just getting possessed. It's not that they're all of a sudden getting possessed. It's that there are these witches that are turning them into this. And I think that really answers a lot of questions about the movie. And I enjoyed that. I also enjoyed that we saw Allie again. My only thing is, wasn't Allie supposed to be the girl in Paranormal Activity 4? Wasn't that supposed to be her? I don't know, I thought that Allie was supposed to be Alex in Paranormal Activity 4, but I guess that she wasn't. But I was happy that we saw her again, because she kind of gave us some answers as to some things. But, I was kind of confused by what was exactly going on in the end of this movie. I just gotta say that the last 20 minutes of this movie, I was completely confused. The scene, from the scenes after they meet up with Allie, and then after that, I'm like, I've lost what's going on with this movie. I'm completely lost, and that kind of ruined the movie for me. After that, I was like, I don't really know what to say about this movie. So, overall with this movie, I will say that it is a good movie. It's a movie that I recommend to you, but I will say that it is a confusing movie. Definitely, the ending of this movie, is definitely going to leave you very, kind of, like, what the hell just happened? That's kind of what I was thinking when I was watching this. It's also going to kind of leave you with that movie was just weird. And I personally just don't know what else to say about it. It was a good movie, but I just don't know what else to say. So, I guess that's it for this review. But again, I don't know what to say. Because the movie was really, really confusing towards the end. It really just, I don't know. But how would I rate this movie with the other Paranormal Activity films? I can, because it's different from the other ones. You know, the first one had that sort of humor. I feel like the fourth one really brought that humor up a lot, and this one made that even more. And I enjoyed the humor in the beginning, and I enjoyed the darker tone of it. I enjoyed that it was a darker type of movie, and that this one actually did legitimately scare me. There's one scene in this movie, and I will say right now, that one scene where they're in that house and Jesse pops out, you know, from there, and it looks like the house is about to, like, fall apart or something, and then Jesse comes up, I was like, ugh. That scene scared me. That was like the first scene in Paranormal Activity history that, like, kind of scared me. I didn't know what was going on, but that scene was kind of scary. But yeah, that's it for my review of this movie. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you guys saw of this movie, and I'll see you guys in my next video, which will be my review for the new episode of Continuum. So I'll see you then. Bye.